Wow, I look at things much different than I did when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. I used to not give considerations to the ladies I used to date when I was a youngster. I did not consider the feelings of their parents. I mean, I did to a certain extent, but had I really respected their parents, I would have not. I wouldn't have gone too far in the dating procedures and proper dating procedures, meaning the sins of fornicating. Sex before marriage, that's a sin against God. And I committed those when I was younger. And I have regrets about it. I've repented, and I've asked God to forgive me of those sins. But in my teenage years and my early 20s, I was pretty promiscuous. And but I just, now that I'm familiar with the writings of the holy prophets, those who were inspired by our Creator, by God, they wrote down instructions for us, for humanity, things not to do and things to do on a morality level. And they said, don't disrespect God's laws and disrespect, well, back then, even human laws secular laws were against certain things. They were against adultery. Even ancient Rome had laws against adultery and against fornicating. You had to be reverent. You had to be reverent towards all family members, the parents, grandparents, the elders. And you had to follow the tribal rules, the tribal traditions. You can't defile other people's daughters. And defilement means, sleeping with their daughters, having sex with them before they are married. That has been traditional since for thousands of years, and there's a reason for it. That's it's moral. It's a moral standard. It's part of nature's rules when it comes to not just on a moral principle, not just because God doesn't condone it, doesn't approve of it, but think about how the father and the mother feels about some stranger or some acquaintance sleeping with their daughter, having sex with them and defiling her. Virginity is a precious thing, being a virgin until someone is married. Virginity represents moral purity. And when virginity is lost, there's even a sense of defilement within the individual who lost their virginity. Within their own core of their being, they feel a sense of loss. They feel a sense of shame. They feel a sense of something's missing. And that's what happens. It's not just there's penalties. It costs. Every activity, every situation has a price tag on it. And if you do certain things, it's going to cost in some shape or fashion or form. And usually it's relational troubles or just personal troubles. Even in the mind and emotions, when we mess with God's standards of morality, it causes an inner conflict, causes all kinds of things, causes guilt, causes other feelings that, if not put in check and not remedied with God's forgiveness and mercy and atonement, it can grow into a very bitter seed. It can cause bitterness. And bitterness leads to all kinds of other terrible things. So you got to put bitterness in check. But the best way to do it is preventative. Don't do those things that would cause the bitterness. You have to stay true to God, and you have to stay moral and upstanding, upright in your conduct and in your thinking and in your behavior. Very important. And think about how the parents would feel. That's their daughter that you're